Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another major upcoming snowstorm. This time it's for the Northeast. Now before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting store. You can check that out in the description and the pinned comment down below. Awesome products available there for direct weather. Also, our Patreon page where we just made a post about the upcoming very cold first half of December. You can check that out. We're going to walk through the entire pattern. It's cheaper than a coffee, so you can always cancel as well. Highly recommend it. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that this snowstorm, this upcoming possible major snowstorm is going to happen, or do you think that it's going to be a lot weaker than what the models are showing? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at the very beginning of this one, which is going to be on Friday, early on Friday. This is maybe like 2 or 3 a.m. on Friday, December 4th. You can see there's cold available up to the north, and we can see our storm down there in the deep south. As we move it towards about I'd say like 4 p.m. here on December 4th, Friday, you can see that that storm has reached the Northeast as we've gone ahead and zoomed in. There is some snow starting up for Pennsylvania and New York. This is only going to be widely expanded. We're going to see a lot more snowfall than this. This could potentially be even a blizzard. We're going to want to watch for that closely. It's going to be very windy, and there's going to be potentially a lot of snowfall. We'll talk about all of that later on in the video. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on where we're going to start to see this snowfall get a lot more widespread. Many more states are going to get involved here, and we're going to see more cold air make its way in. Now, by about 2 a.m. on Saturday, December 5th, you can see, well, there's some lighter to moderate snowfall going on for some regions like Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. But you might be wondering, where is the heavy snow? Where is the major snowstorm? And as we move on towards about 8 a.m. on Saturday, December 5th, you can see that low pressure center intensifies and it makes its way further north. It's right along the coast. You can see it's located over Delaware, and that snow is beginning to get a lot heavier there for the Northeast, and we're seeing a lot more areas switch over to snow. So we're seeing moderate to heavy snowfall now for areas like West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, especially northern New Hampshire, and portions of northern Maine. And as we move on, and this is going to be about 2 p.m. on Saturday, December 5th, you can see that low pressure center is located just to the south of Long Island. It's a 983 millibar low pressure center, and you can see we have extreme heavy snow there for eastern Pennsylvania, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Very heavy snowfall. This would be extreme conditions here. This would be very, very heavy snowfall. Again, near blizzard conditions, if not blizzard conditions, if this model run was to pan out. So we'll be watching for that very, very closely. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our next frame in just a moment, which is going to be, again, maybe about 4 or 5 p.m. On Saturday again. And then we're just going to keep moving on further with the storm. Eventually, we're going to get into the modeled snowfall forecast, so stay tuned for that later on. All right, now as we take a look at our next frame here, you can see we're at about, again, 4 or 5 p.m. on Saturday, December 5th, and the snow has gotten even heavier. Our low pressure center here, according to this model, is located right in between Connecticut and Massachusetts. The one thing you need to know is that this far out, this low pressure center could be located easily 100 miles further east to 100 miles further west. And if it's further east, we will also see that rain snow line further east alongside all of the precipitation. So this could easily become a New York City to Boston snowstorm as well. Just as easily, it could become a Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo type snowstorm. So this could go all over the place. The important thing, I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but the most important thing here is that there looks to be a snowstorm. And over the next few days, my job is going to be kind of just locating where that's going to occur. And this is our first video of many, probably just like with our previous snowstorm. You can see there's heavy snowfall going on there for a lot of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Vermont, New Hampshire, and further north up in Maine. Let's just go ahead and take it to about 8 p.m. that day. And again, mostly New York getting the brunt of this one. Also northeastern Pennsylvania, same story. We can see that portions of western Connecticut as well, the western half of Vermont there. Our low pressure center is moving north up towards New Hampshire. Again, if this is located, let's say, 50 miles further east, we will see a lot of that snowfall going into Massachusetts and New Hampshire. as opposed to New York. A lot can change. Let's just take it to about 2 a.m. on Sunday now. And basically, you can see that we have moved it further north into New Hampshire. And we see back-end snowfall making its way south and east of the low pressure center. So further east in Massachusetts, maybe even approaching Boston. We see areas in southern New Hampshire, a lot of Connecticut here. But still, upstate New York seems to be getting the brunt of this one by this point. So let's just go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to move on in just a moment towards kind of the afternoon hour of Sunday as this storm is going to close out. And then we're going to get right into our modeled snowfall guidance for this one. All right, now here we are taking a look at about, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 p.m. here on Sunday, December 6th. And as you can see, there's still some moderate snowfall going on for portions of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. We can see that rain snow line has significantly shifted south because after this storm moves out, a lot of cold is going to move in. Again, that's what our Patreon post is about. So if you want to check that out, you can go check that out in the description in the pinned comment down below. I already posted it just a few minutes ago, so you can check that out. Let's take it to approximately, I would say, 11 p.m. on Sunday here. And you can see that our storm is finally closing out, coming to a full end. We see, again, I would say snow showers, maybe flurries going on now by this point for New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. But really, for the most part, it's closing out. And the cold has officially moved in. Again, the important thing to note here is that these models are showing a snowstorm, but the location could definitely vary a lot. We saw that with our previous snowstorm, which, again, it disappointed a lot of people because in our first video, it appeared like it would bullseye maybe Indiana, and it really shifted east towards further east in Ohio. Even Pennsylvania got some of the brunt of that, and Indiana kind of got left in the dry. The same thing can happen during this snowstorm, so I want to just put that disclaimer out there. These storms, the location 3 or 4 days out on a snowstorm like this are very fickle, to say the least. The fact of the matter is that it looks like there will be a snowstorm, but that location could certainly shift a lot. So I want you guys to really just stay tuned. I don't want you to really be set in stone on anything happening at this point, and we're going to continue to track this one over the next few days, like I said before. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at, first off, the accumulated maximum wind gusts, and then we're going to take a look at the total snowfall according to multiple models, and then we're going to close out the video. Now, in the thumbnail, you might be wondering, why is there red all along the coast? And this is the exact reason why. Look at those winds. This is the maximum accumulated wind gusts. So basically, this means that, well, we're taking a look at basically now through 120 hours from now, which would be approximately 8 p.m. on Sunday. So between now and then, this is the maximum amount of wind gusts anywhere would see. So, for instance, those oranges along the coast, which is exactly where I put those red shades on the thumbnail, is about 50 miles per hour to 70 mile per hour wind gusts there, which I would say is probably more than a nuisance wind event, if you, to say the least, I would say. And those brown shades that make their way onto Long Island and portions of Massachusetts, well, that's 70 mile per hour wind gusts plus. So this storm could definitely bring major winds to a lot of these regions. So we're going to be looking out for that as well. Here is first off our European models snowfall forecast. If you're anywhere in the grays, that's about a dusting or so, at least seeing flakes in that gray region. Now, as we make our way into the blue regions, that's 2 to 6 inches of snow. So generally, a lot of Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, and then some New England areas as well are in that blue shade there. As we make our way into the purple shade, which is basically just some thin bands of that kind of scattered around, that's 6 to 9 inches of snow. As you make your way into the pink, which there's plenty of that, as you can see, that's where we're at about 9 to 18 inches of snow. So that's going to be for a lot of Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and a lot of Canada up there, as you can see as well. And then as we kind of get to those pastel colors for upstate New York, that's anywhere from about 20 to even 48 inches of snow. But what I can see here from the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is that the maximum anywhere on this map right now is 46 inches of snow, and I think that's for the Adirondack Mountains there. Very, very interesting. This would be obviously a very major snowstorm, if not a blizzard, for a lot of these regions. We will watch this closely. The one thing I want to mention is that with our last snowstorm, I think a lot of people got a little bit too confident in these snowfall maps from the models. So I really don't want you guys to be super confident in these. These are just guidance, and these shift around a lot, so this is not final by any means, and it's certainly not my forecast. I don't even have a forecast out yet. A lot of people claimed, well, you were calling for 12 to 24 inches of snow for Indiana, but that was just model guidance that I was showing. So there's a difference there. If I make a hand-drawn map, yes, that is my forecast. But for this particular map we're taking a look at, this is absolutely not from me. This is from the European model. I hope that makes sense and you guys are able to differentiate that. Here's the Canadian model, and this one doesn't have a lot of those like 20 to 48 inch amounts, but it does have very widespread 1 foot or more snowfall from, I would say, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. So very widespread swath of those very large amounts, 10 to 20 inch amounts, I would say. And then the Icon model, which is our German model. The interesting thing here, and this model isn't known for being really good anyway, but it doesn't show a lot for New York. It doesn't show a lot for Pennsylvania. But New England, it shows a ton here, as you can see, a foot to maybe 2 feet here for a lot of Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine. And then our GFS model, and it says, there's not going to be as much, except unless you're in New Hampshire or Maine, where you could see about a foot or so. So yes, there is a lot of differing opinions here according to the models, and we'll be watching all of these closely. I think I anticipate that the next 3 or 4 days I will be making continuous videos on this storm. So again, be sure to check those out. Be sure to stay tuned because this video will be likely outdated by tomorrow, where I'll be updating it. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think there will be any blizzards in December? And Laser Stuff said, I think there will be a blizzard in the second half or the week of December. I guess the final week of December. And the one thing I want to mention is I don't necessarily agree that this will happen, but I did find this interesting for 2 reasons. First note, which is kind of besides the point, I think this is our tallest comment of the day of all time, so I thought that was pretty cool. Second, this reminds me a lot of the 2010 snowstorm. It's not as major according to the numbers that Laser Stuff put down here, but it does kind of remind me of that 2010 blizzard, which this December reminds me of 2010, so I just found that interesting. Again, it's impossible to predict this, but it would be interesting if this did come into fruition, purely by luck, obviously. Now, anyway, for today's Patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our diamond patrons: Michael Codalessa, Alicia Davis, Marcus Conley, Catbite, Alan Sherry, Terry Curtis, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Bill Roberts, Kellen Manhart, Michael Buell, Mariah Vieira, Noah Harley, and Mark J, alongside our platinum patrons: Adam S., John Benbenick, Justin Quantrell, Donna Carnes, Alan Belemo, Larry LePan, Dovey Nagel, James Wade, and Cameron Marshall. If you would like to end up on this Patreon end screen, you can do so by joining our Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.